Okay, here comes another YouTube update video from my cell phone. I really need to get my damn screen fixed on that laptop. Anyways, I'm probably going to stun some people because I'm going to do something very rare here, and I'm going to talk about God. And yeah, this is a legal update. It's kind of cool. For those of you who don't believe in God or that God works through people, I was led to the Spirit to believe I'd be in jail for only 90 days. I left on the 90th day. Literally. And just to prove it to myself, at the very least, what I did was I wrote down the entire story of what all had happened, and I had put that little vert line in there right above the part where I had it signed and notarized in the jail. I just kind of thought that was cool. I'm bringing this up because yesterday I went to the public library to look at the law books, and Amy Lilly apparently said I made some kind of threat. Apparently this woman is freaked out about the video I put up talking about how they have to drop my case and not indict me and a whole different number of things. And because a certain competitor of mine, we'll call him Il Fillmore, we won't use his real name, but we all know who we're talking about, had gone and went to this woman with all kinds of malicious lies and everything. So I was doing a free counterterrorism course at the library, and I already had permission from the previous library director. I got this really nasty voicemail from Miss Lilly threatening me with Beckley police officers. Yeah, I know John Nathan Lilly and then the whole thing with Sergeant Bailey seems kind of odd, doesn't it? Anyway, in fear of all this, she got so damn scared that she calls the police, and they came up, and you know what? I resisted a false arrest to the best of my ability. I didn't have to go so far as kill anyone. I didn't even have to hit anyone. Instead, I simply talked to the cops, explained what was going on. They told me she can have me barred, and there's a number of steps I can do by going to the county commission and everything else to deal with it. And I've just decided I'm just going to sue her in court. And that kind of works out because when you sue somebody, you get motions of discovery. And there's a lot of things people don't want to be brought out that's going to be brought out now thanks to her. So thank you, Amy. Well, that's that. Now here comes the part where I was going to talk about God in the Bible. A lot of you might not understand this. A lot of people thought when I said that according to Bad Elk versus the United States, I can go to the extreme of killing a cop in self-defense, and that is true. The problem with this is that that wasn't a threat to kill anyone. That was me saying there's an extreme. So if that's the extreme that I can kill someone in self-defense for a false arrest, then that says nothing of me running away. I simply said I would defend myself to the best of my ability. I have a lot of abilities. I have a very good understanding of the legal system. For one, I've beaten lawyers in court representing myself. I've never gone to the bar, law school, or trained to be a paralegal or anything. Yes, I have that combat training, and yes, I do sell books on it, but I also have survival training. I'm really good at escape and evasion. I'm really good at, manipulation and psychological warfare, and all of these things. And this is the fun part about it, because, well, I did something yesterday in the course of all this, and what I did was, I flipped through my Bible and I asked God to, give me to kind of direct me to understanding. This is what I came across. I came across a few things first, but I'm going to do this in reverse order, okay? Because it seems to make more sense to me that way. And so allow me to put this to you. And this goes back to this thing with Dorner. I've noticed there's a lot of similarities between the case with me and the case with Dorner and fabricated evidence and the cops lying and everything else. And since Dorner has come up and started killing cops, everyone's freaked out. And then since you have me, and I have substantially more combat training given that I was in the Army and not the Navy, and so everyone's all freaked out and scared. And I find it entertaining because I've never actually threatened anyone. I've implied a potential course of action, never threatened to take it. I simply imply that there's a potential course of action that I can take. But here's what I'm going to get to. This is that I was led to. Deuteronomy 32:30 and 31. How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock with a capital R, had sold them, and the Lord had shut them up. For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. Now, when they're talking about rock, they're talking about the rock of faith that you stand on. And you know, there's a big difference between, you know, having a rock made out of sandstone and a rock made out of granite. And any Christian will know that there's that line in the Bible about how the Lord is my rock. He is the foundation from which my life is built. Then this brought me to, ironically, First Chronicles, and it says, "For great is the Lord and greatly to be praised. He also is to be feared above all other gods. For all the gods of the people are idols, but the Lord made the heavens. Glory and honor are in his presence, and strength and gladness are in his place." Now, I want to bring something up here. This clarifies that rock thing a great deal, because we're talking about idols. You have all these people that believe in the idol, the uniform, the cloak of authority, the badge. If any of that means anything, and it really doesn't. You know, they look towards priests and pastors and to have some sort of authority over top of their lives. And the reality of the matter is, it really doesn't exist. You know, a rabbi, the word rabbi means teacher. So any pastor, any preacher, I'm against the idea of priest, and I'll explain that as well. These people are to teach you, and they're to teach you to find your own way towards God. Because, you know, the Bible does say that we have that we are all priests of God. All of us who follow God are priests of God. And this doesn't matter whether you're talking Christian or Jew. And to be honest, if you're a Christian, you're also a Jew. But that'd be another video I got to explain to. The fact of the matter, coming down to this, is that, you know, if we are all priests and there's but one high priest, which is Jesus Christ, which was God made flesh, who died for our sins, then you run into this little problem that, you know, giving an institution authority over top of your life is nothing more than idol worship. Giving a badge or a uniform authority over top of who you are is nothing more than idol worship. Believing the government can give you your rights given to you by God, by nature, by existence. You know, if believing that is nothing more than idol worship, you're believing in the ways of men, which is really funny, because now you're starting to see the fear in these people. You know, all these people afraid because of me putting out their secrets and knowing that, you know, there've been attempts on me to try to scare me. There's going to be attempts on my life, attempts at false arrest and everything else. What everyone's afraid of is, you know, me actually turning into another Dorner because he gets so much media attention, and they don't want this stuff coming out. And I've already put so much of it on the internet that it's already there enough that if I were to follow this path, or to follow that path, that the whole world would see. And I did this for a reason, because that keeps me from having to worry about being killed, because that also caused some issues. That, and, well, if you miss, then I'm coming out swinging, sorry. But that's a possible chain of events. And then back to what I was talking about, you know, with God. It says also here in Deuteronomy 31:6, "Be strong and of good courage, fear not, nor be afraid of them, for the Lord thy God, he it is that doth go with thee, he will not fail thee, nor forsake thee." Now think about this. The Bible's saying that God will go with you. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, God didn't give me what I wanted. Well, maybe what you wanted and what he wanted for you are two different things. I've come to accept that. Maybe I'm not supposed to run a martial arts school. Maybe I'm not supposed to teach people what I know. Maybe I'm just supposed to write these books and put it out there, and then live my life as an example to everyone else about what happens when you have knowledge, when you have the ability to stand up and to do so. See, I made that statement about Bad Up versus Ohio, that statement that I could go so far as to use lethal force to defend myself. And I did so, knowing some people would take it as a threat, even though it wasn't mentioned as a threat. And I'm not arrested. I talked to cops yesterday. I wasn't arrested, and there was no issue about it, none of that coming up. And so many people are reacting in fear to it, of one man, because he says something, and they're afraid I'm going to do it. And they live their lives in fear because what they're looking to protect them, their authority, is from man, idols, institutions, symbols. Whereas I'm just kind of, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not, but I'm just going to put blind faith in God, and knowing that I haven't really seen much, but I've seen a lot. And I'm going to take the paper I wrote up with everything that happened described into it up until the time I went to jail, and signed and notarized in jail. I'm going to put it out there. It's even got a few predictions that's already came true that no one's seen yet. But notary thing kind of cinches it in. And by the way, I'm not saying I'm a prophet of God or anything like that. I'm just saying that, well, this goes back to my baptism. Not the baptism I had in the church, but the baptism I had when I almost drowned. I'll tell you people on YouTube that story one day. But for now, you don't really need to know it. Not for this. Well, at least I might tell it towards the end of this video. Then we get to Matthew 16:24, and this is what I found earlier yesterday morning. It said, "Then said Jesus unto his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me." So, think about that. I could have sat down and let them back me into a corner with the fear of false charges and everything else. Or instead, I could have picked up my cross and let myself be crucified in the media, and knowing my detractors and everything else would jump on it to destroy my name, and I did. And that was a painful experience. I'm still a little sore over that one. But, you know, an interesting story for you. Jesus Christ died on the cross and was resurrected 3 days later. And through his resurrection, all of our sins are forgiven so that we can all be free men, free from even death. And so a little bit of pain and suffering compared to, you know, a lifetime of pain and suffering or an eternity of torment. It's nothing. It's just one of those things you got to be a man and suck up. And then I also came across this. It comes back to 1 Thessalonians. It says, "Faithful is he that calleth you, who will do it." Think about that. You know, I'm not going to say that, like I said, I'm not going to say that I'm a prophet of God, but I'm going to tell you about my baptism. You need to understand that before you understand what I'm going to say next. When I was about 9, 10 years old, I was playing in a river with my cousin. I can't swim, by the way. I stepped off a drop-off, and it just went straight down. And my uncle Ed, who was trained at Quantico, who had done water safety courses with Navy SEALs when he was going through training out there with FBI agents and everything, at Quantico. He was an LAPD detective, and left LAPD because of how corrupt it was. He jumped in to save me, and he was a very strong swimmer, and he had to come up for air 3 times before I came up 1 time. Well, while he was looking for me, the 3rd time he comes down, and he manages to find me, and I was laying there limp, and he grabs me by the neck, and he pulls me out of the water, and he says, "Does anybody know CPR?" And I got up, and I coughed up some water and said, "Yeah, me." And compare him and how much larger his lungs are to mine, and you can think about that all you want. Now, here's the thing about it. I had this, when I was down there, I figured I was going to die, and this is a really interesting awakening experience to be so young and to be in that situation. And at a certain point, I simply said, "Okay, God, if I'm to die and it's your will, so be it." And I just quit struggling, and I felt arms reach underneath me and lift me up. And then I felt the arms pull down away from me, and I felt someone reach around my neck. And the one reaching around my neck happened to be my uncle when he pulled me to shore. And it stunned everybody, it scared everybody. But the whole symbolism of baptism is that the old man dies when he falls into the water, and the new man comes out, cleansed and free and in the Spirit of the Lord. Well, while I was down there, I said, you know, let my life, if my life is to be a lesson to others, fine, so be it. And I just gave up, quit trying to fight, quit trying to do anything on my own. And that was a strange thing about it, because, you know, I can't explain it, and if I tell you this, you might think I'm crazy, but Ed and Stanley, and even my pedophile uncle who was with us at the time, Tommy, all remember this. So maybe me telling this story kind of gets to him, to his mind, to think about this. You know, I'm not perfect, I'm human, and that's just the way it is. But, you know, I have I won't say I have no fear, but I have no fear in doing what is right. I have no fear in that these people can attack me. You know that saying, if the Lord be with me, who can stand against me? Well, here's the thing about it. I've already put my faith in God. I've already done things that most of you, won't. All you people who have issues with the cops falsifying evidence and corruption and everything else. Well, here's what I'm telling you. If you have any faith in God, put on your big boy pants. I'm not going to tell you what I did. You can look on YouTube, watch the videos, and see what I did. You can see what I did to protect myself. You can see what I did to attack a corrupt system using the very laws that they hide behind. And remember, He is faithful that will call you, that will do it Himself.